Welcome to Ben Snap and Chat, the podcast where we talk about what happens when life doesn't go according to plan.
I'm Cristie.
And I'm Drake.
And around here, we believe that even when life bends us, it doesn't mean we're broken.
Let's get into it.
All right, my friend. For our audience listening, I just kind of had a little mini breakdown. We had some crying. My period has started.
The two of us are just overly emotional and reactionary.
You know what? Sometimes a good cry is like one of the best releases that we can do.
We'll be honest and say, I think we did this before this podcast.
I think we did. We might be repeating some of the stuff that we talked about, but hey, that's okay. So today we're going to be talking about aging with grace. And when it comes to living in bodies we do.
No. I don't want to live with another woman. Grace is not coming here to live here. She's not coming. She's not allowed.
Grace can stay outside.
Stay home, Grace.
Maybe that's what Grace. I should call my menopause or my perimenopause. Grace is really having an impact today.
Grace is having a bad day.
Grace.
Let's talk about
I let Grace out of the cage today.
Let's talk about menopause. We'll talk about menopause first since you're in the middle of it.
Oh my goodness. So I know a lot of women out there, like pretty much every woman in my friend group is going through this friggin' perimenopause. Like, don't we have enough dealing with periods, and then we have to deal with the perimenopause, and then the menopause, and then you know what else I was reading about that I had no idea? There's a post-menopause, Drake.
Yes.
Did you know that?
The post-menopause can last for, it's like long COVID.
What the fuck, Drake?
But we can't think about this because if you think about it, I'm one of those. So we talked about this during our meltdown.
Yes.
So if you think about this, if you dwell on something too much, and if you start to create, so this is the big thing about aging.
I get it.
It's true. If you create the mindset, you are the one who was always telling me about this stuff, and Michael's always trying to tell me this stuff, and I'm the one usually rejecting this. So I'm going to embrace it right now and say that you set your life by your thought tone.
We really do. It really has an impact. But when it comes to hormones, the way the hormones make us feel,
thought process. That's when the train goes off the track and it rolls over, and then there's a canyon, and then the whole train goes down the canyon and crashes at the bottom.
Literally. And the thing with our healthcare system, and it can't just be in Canada, that we don't test our hormones. Like, you would go to the GP and ask for hormone testing, and it's like, oh, no, you're probably in perimenopause because of your age. I went to an endocrinologist.
I hate when they blame shit on fucking being fat and age.
I'm fat right now because of the hormones. Like, I've been on weight loss meds for the last 3 months, and I've just gained weight.
Not lost any weight?
No,
you're the only person that can take weight loss meds and gain.
Like, are you kidding me right now?
But this is so.
It's a serious thing, though.
The low estrogen thing is really serious, and it's like low testosterone. But so the low estrogen thing, apparently, like we've been talking about, it causes like all these horrible things. But then there's, I don't know, maybe you can explain this to me. So then there's the HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, which I take it you will be partaking in sometime soon.
I will be.
Yes. So what are the risk factors? What is all this stuff that we hear about women and hormones and cancer? So that's the one thing that really kind of piques my interest. Yeah.
So I think that is based on an older study. So there's people that are estrogen dominant, which they have too much estrogen. Yeah. Me and my mom also had like very low estrogen, which is looking like where my body is going. It's so complicated. I think that's part of why most GPs don't even want to touch it, because it's so complicated, and I'm by no means any kind of specialist, but when I did work with a functional health practitioner in the past, when it came to HRT, so what I'm most likely gonna be taking is called BHRT. So it's a bioidentical hormone replacement therapy,
Okay.
and I mean, I'm gonna learn more in a couple weeks when I actually have the session, and I can tell you more about it at that point. I think the issue when it comes to the cancer and being afraid of cancer and the estrogen, um, it comes from HRT, and they've done a lot of research in the last few years. I still, even though I'm not followed by the functional health doctor, I
Mm,
still am friends with her on Facebook. And one of the interesting things that she's been sharing a lot of recently is actually women in perimenopause actually benefit not only from estrogen, depending on their levels, of course,
mhm.
but testosterone. Because just like
Right.
men, our testosterone starts to decrease like in our 30s.
So
When
your
does it
test
when does that
oh,
happen for men?
yeah.
Around in the 30s as well?
Yeah.
It just
But
kind of slowly
But
declines and
the women's testosterone does the exact same thing as the men's testosterone, and it has
yes.
a major component to your strength and your energy level.
Yes. Which,
Yeah.
like, I have been on the struggle bus, like, the
Oh, no, I know.
fatigue,
Yeah.
the
So do you think your test is low too?
yeah, the testosterone's low, the, progesterone's low, and the estrogen's low. So what I ended up doing, because even the endocrinologist refused essentially to test my hormones,
Yeah,
there's
tell
this
people
thing
this
in
story. So this is our healthcare system. So we do have what they call free healthcare up here, but you
right?
know what things that you get for free are like these days. Go ahead with this story, Christy.
So they refused. The endocrinologist refused to test my hormones because he said in women that are perimenopausal, we don't test their hormones. And it's like, why? Why don't you test their hormones when it's such a huge impact on our quality of life? Like it impacts everything, our sleep, our like feeling sexy and our libido and the weight gain and the brain fog. Like I already have the brain fog because of my health. So then having the brain fog because of perimenopause on top of everything, like sometimes I'm just like I blank and my brain is just like
Yep.
I don't know where I'm going, right?
Yep.
So I went to this place. It's called Science and Humans. It's based in Ontario and it's an online thing that's specifically like for men. They actually have this, which is kind of interesting. It's an at home test where you can test your testosterone and it's not a needle. It's like this new engineered thing where you put it on your arm.
Like Star Trek.
Yeah, and it pulls from the capillaries. And so
Where
you
do you
get
get
this.
this?
I'll send you the link after. It's
Oh.
from Science and Humans.
Oh.
And it's this cool, like you get this little tube, you just leave it there, I think, for like a
Yeah,
couple hours.
all the gay boys are gonna be getting this thing. We're gonna have to put a link in the thing. They're all gonna wanna test their testosterone. You know it, right? Yeah.
I will definitely share a link. I don't
Okay.
know if they have access to it in the States or if it's just they might
Oh,
have similar things in the States.
probably.
This one, it's in Ontario, but it's also a few other provinces that you have access to it as well.
Okay. Maybe not Quebec.
I don't think they were on the list. I
Mm,
think
okay.
Alberta, BC.
That sucks.
There may have been one place out east. I can't
Okay.
remember exactly.
All right.
So basically, it tests like 40 different markers for
This is
women.
amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So it's a capillary read.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that one is for testosterone, and you can do it as well for, I think, certain things with perimenopause, or you have the option. So I took the other option, which is like a full panel.
Panel. Yeah.
So I had to go get blood work done
So
from
how
like
much did
labs.
this cost for the whole thing?
So for the actual like rec, it was usually they say it costs $50, but they have it crossed off and it's $1. And then if they see that your hormones are all over the place, like mine are, then it's a $200 consultation. And they also have their own products, which is kind of cool. So they have a variety of like patches, topical
Oh,
stuff,
so they
oral.
can prescribe this.
Yeah, so it's
So
all
you,
compounded.
so it's like a
It's a
major
very it's
hormone
very interesting.
band-aid. Yes,
Yeah,
that's really good.
it's very interesting.
I would
Cuz
like to have mine tested again too.
I'll send you the link, cuz
Yeah,
I think for the capillary thing, I think that was about 100. I can't remember
that's not
exactly.
bad.
It's not too bad. Yeah.
That's not bad. I mean,
No.
no. I mean, if it's your health, we don't mind investing, right?
Exactly.
So
And so
these are the people that did your full panel. So how
they did
much
the
did the rec the whole thing cost for like start to finish?
so right now it's 201. And
Oh
I
my
have
god,
my appointment, and they're specialists. Like they're the ones
that's
that are,
amazing. Why wouldn't
yeah,
anybody just do this? We need
honestly,
to put
so
the
many
link.
people are doing it because
Yeah.
GPs aren't
No.
taught about
No.
hormones.
Yep.
It's just basically like, oh yeah, you're 45, yeah, you're probably in perimenopause. And for men, oh, you're this age, like your testosterone is
Oh, I can't
decreasing. Like
stand
it's
this.
just part of it, right?
But you
Like
got to
we're just
say,
supposed
so
to
here's the
accept
thing
it.
though, and this is very true, that I think more women get, because I don't think the 60s Valium mom syndrome
Yeah.
has ever gone away. And I
Yeah.
think that's always, and I think women like really get dismissed with this stuff because of how male doctors, this is terrible. I'm going to stir up shit now. How
Uh,
male doctors don't understand how hormones can
yeah.
really turn your life around. I mean, because this low estrogen has really
It can
shaken your
wreck your
life.
body. Yeah,
It is wrecking
like,
your body.
yeah,
We're
I've been
watching
an
it.
emotional wreck. I've been
Yeah.
exhausted. Like
Yeah,
I'm
but you know
already
what? This is the
tired,
thing,
but
and the worst fucking thing is, I mean, you have to accept this as this is a chemical problem, and you can
exactly.
cry and scream and be mad and be
Yeah.
happy, and there's nothing you can do about it. So
No.
it's like my dysautonomia that I have, and when I go on my rants, and when you combine drugs with it, and I
Yeah.
become crazy sometimes, and there's
It's
been times, and we can't blame ourselves for this.
no,
And I think,
it's literally a chemical reaction. It changes
yeah,
the brain chemistry,
yeah,
and also it changes the connections, the neuroplasticity in our brain
yes,
changes
yeah,
based
yeah.
on you know, on all the neurotransmitters, but all the hormones as well. So my
So,
doctor was consulting with a different endocrinologist, and I had the nurse practitioner at my clinic call me, and she was like, "Oh, so this endocrinologist suggests that we put you on progesterone," and I'm like, okay, I had already booked my human and sciences thing at this point. So I wanted to see, I didn't want to push back or have to explain why I'm going elsewhere. So I'm like, do you think that it would make sense to test my hormones before putting me on something like progesterone? And she's like, well, as a nurse, I would suggest. And I was like, okay, good, because like I'm gonna get my blood work done next week to
yeah,
get this checked out. But it's not the first thing they do. Like it's not like they're like, okay, I'm gonna send you to get a hormone panel, see where you're at. That doesn't happen. You
yep.
literally have to fight for it.
Keep talking because I'm Googling something while you're talking. Keep going.
Even like my brother went because he's getting older. He wanted to test for whatever reason. He wanted to test his testosterone, and even him, the doctors were like, "No, we don't do that." And so that's why these things like these private clinics are coming up because I think people understand now that like hormones are such a huge part of how like quality of life. You
Well,
can't have you
I'm
can't be
Googling,
calm and everything. What
so
were you looking up there?
you know my Gemini obsession. I'm
Yes.
starting to like Gemini better than ChatGPT. Don't know
Interesting.
why. So anyway, so low estrogen
Yeah.
shuts down your mitochondrial function.
And I already
Okay.
have issues with the cellular level, right?
Right. So anybody who doesn't understand what this is
Yeah.
mitochondrial is where your cells do all of the work. So your cells in your body are constantly changing over and rebuilding and
Yeah.
becoming something new.
Yeah.
When your estrogen or your testosterone gets low,
Yeah.
what happens is the mitochondrial the regeneration stops. And you'll notice, so
Wow.
this is no, so what this
Completely
is what,
stop.
so
Oh.
it
That's why
dysregulates
I'm friggin' exhausted.
and it causes hair loss and
My
it
hair's been thinning so
it
much.
causes hairs like
Wow.
weird hairs to grow other places.
Yes.
And then it causes the hair texture changes. And sometimes it gets even
Interesting.
more frizzy and more flyaway.
I've been noticing that.
It's
That's
so
really
low.
weird. I have
So
like
yep.
I'll dry my hair, like dry just normal,
And it's
and it has like a
frizzy
not
texture.
curls, but like yeah. But I've been taking that what is it, K18?
K18. Well, you
So I've
got to
been
put a
taking
link in
that.
there. We're going to have to put links in
Oh, I
everything.
know. I'm gonna have to make notes so that I don't
Yeah. So
don't
any women
forget.
that are listening, I did hair for 33 years. And the one thing that we were always looking for is a regenerative conditioner that was like the Star Trek thing that you put it in the little
Yeah.
machine and everything regenerates. Apparently K18, from what Cristie tells me, is like one of the number one things. That's the new thing. So go look for K18 treatment on Amazon, right?
It feels really nice. I'll put the link.
Yeah.
But after I put it the first time, I was like, "Oh," like
So what?
it felt silky, it felt
Yeah.
soft, it
So
wasn't
inside,
as puffy.
to make it really simple,
Yeah.
so inside of your hair, let's think about it like a ladder. It's really not
Okay.
a ladder, it's more like a helix.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that helix has bonds that go across the two sides of the ladder
Yeah.
and they're twisted. And what
Okay.
happens is with damage and with low hormones and all of the things when the mitochondria stop producing
Yeah.
the protein for the hair, those bonds start to break down. So the rungs of the ladder become not there anymore. And then the hair gets
Interesting.
light and frizzy. The texture changes. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't understand this. I mean, I did women's hair for years and I
Yeah.
watched these change. I had clients for 10 years
Yeah.
and I watched their hair change like this. I mean, I've watched women go into menopause and it was just like so devastating.
And I've been getting rashes. Like I
Yeah.
used to get rashes because of the inflammation.
Yeah.
So when I have like my pouchitis or whatever, I would get rashes.
Yeah.
Now recently, the last 2 months, I've been getting rashes bigger in different places. And apparently that could be like estrogen as well.
So if it's causing mitochondrial dysfunction, a big part
It's
of the immune
breaking it down.
system is regeneration.
That's crazy.
So it's
I didn't
breaking
put that
down.
2 and 2 together.
It's breaking down your body.
Literally,
The
cell
low
by
est.
cell.
I need to send you this. This is
Yeah.
like unbelievable. I don't know whether I should send you this or not.
I mean, I'm trying to understand it as much as I can. I've been
This is wild.
Googling
You
like
won't believe
my
this.
results. I should maybe ask ChatGPT or try this Gemini
Oh,
thing that
this
you've
is
been.
just I can't believe this. Because if this is the case, then like this is everything that's happening with you right now. And as
Yeah,
soon as
because
your
no
estrogen
wonder.
levels return, you're probably going to become Wonder Woman again.
Honestly, so this might be TMI for people, but like once I broke up with my ex, I was taking a Nuvo ring, which I
What
can't
is this?
take.
Is it a
Okay, so
birth
I
control?
yeah, it's a type of birth control.
So
It's like a little ring.
is it like a diaphragm? Yeah, like a
Kind of, but
yeah,
yeah, it's just like
tell them old.
it honestly is like the size of like a hair elastic, and
Okay.
then that much around, and then you just like shove it up there, and it gives you like estrogen, and I think also maybe progesterone.
So but
Um,
it's like the pill.
it's like the pill, but I can't be on oral contraceptive. So I can't be on like the pill like you would normally think anymore,
Yeah, yeah.
because I was having like very weird ocular retinal migraines that they were concerned that I was having blood clots. And
Oh,
so from that point on, they said no more oral contraceptives for you
wow.
because it could cause blood clots.
Oof.
And it's not something that you want to mess around with.
No.
So when I stopped taking that, interestingly enough, is when I started having the crazy, like the hyperpot symptoms with my blood pressure going all over the place.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we think that the hyperpots can be triggered by perimenopause. So it was like taking that hormone out of my system.
Yeah.
Everything went insane.
So it's like a house fire inside and then breaking all the windows and letting the oxygen in so that the flames.
That's literally like
It's like a burning
basically,
house. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's interesting because I'm going to be seeing I
Oh,
have a pot specialist. So I'm going to be seeing the pot specialist
yeah.
who's an internal doctor that specializes in pots, apparently.
Yeah.
Um, and so it'll be interesting to get his perspective too on like I'm just taking this as a trigger because I've also seen a lot of people in groups that were talking about like, yeah, my symptoms went crazy. Like it
Yeah.
definitely was perimenopause that triggered the
Yep.
hyperpots.
Yep.
So it's all been connected. Like the last 6
So,
months of my life.
yeah. And when this estrogen thing gets fixed and
Yes,
testosterone, I think that your
I'll be
energy
brand
will
new.
work. Yeah.
Well, close to.
Because you said something to me yesterday. You're like, oh my God, I did too much. And then I thought about it for a moment. It's like, it's not that we do too much. It's that we don't have the capacity to do what we used to do and we think we
That's
can, and then we do it. And then it's like, it was like, we had this conversation
yeah.
before, like Christie's been trying to, you know,
You could
get
just
me
say it.
to get me to say the D word. I'm like, and I'm really resistant her going, I'm not disabled and blah, 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 blah. And you can be disabled if you want to be,
But I'm not. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so over the past little while, I mean, I've come to realize that there are some things in my life that I'm actually disabled from at this
That's a
current
hard
time.
thing to process. Like it's not an easy thing to come to that conclusion and be like, because of how we've been programmed and how we think that that's like we're less than or less worthy if we're disabled. It just means that our body works differently than other people.
Right.
And
It just
and
works
once I was
differently than it used
yes,
to. Than it used
and
to.
differently than it used to.
Yeah.
That's true. And
Yep.
I think part of also what we've been going through is trying to find, like I've noticed for me in the last few years, especially going through surgeries and all that, is that my baseline of what I've been able to do physically changes. And so like there's always this kind of push and pull of like, yes, I want to push myself to do more so that I can build strength and endurance and be able to physically do more. And then there's times when I maybe push myself a little bit too much past that baseline. Like this week, it was amazing. I got to see my nieces. They were in town.
Yeah.
Like I had 2 fun, amazing days with them. But then I'm tired after. Like and
Oh, I
that's
know.
something that I've had to just accept at some point that like, okay, my baseline is different than it used to be when I was 25. And, doing events and doing all the things that I used to do. But it's also part of aging too. And I understand
Oh.
that people, as they age, that baseline naturally is going to change.
So it's the fatigue
Yeah.
and the duration. So on a positive note, I exercise a lot. And
You
it's
do. And
almost,
I'm
it's
so proud of
become,
you.
thank you. And it's become a little bit of an obsession. And then me and Michael got to talking about this. It's like exercise and movement. And since we're talking about
Yes,
aging
it's an
with
important.
grace, it's the baseline.
It's very important.
Yeah, as long as so. But here's the other thing:
Yeah.
if your testosterone's fucking low, and if your
Yep.
estrogen's low, and you
Yep.
try to do this stuff,
Yep.
you become defeated
And
because,
depleted. If
well,
literally you're saying
quickly.
on a cellular level,
You can't. That's what
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Like, you
Yeah.
can't exercise right now until they balance this
Yeah.
estrogen, because you are really taxing your system.
I mean, yeah.
I wait until you read what I sent you. So
Okay.
anyway, I mean, moderate, like walking around the house is good right now.
Yes.
That's what's good right now. Get off the
And I've
sofa,
been
walk
doing the
around the house,
treadmill.
do that thing, don't sit in front of the TV too long. Cause oh my God, the other thing too, we got to talk about is like hip flexors and all this. We're going to
Oh
talk
my
about this
goodness.
because anybody who sits for a living. Okay. So they
Yeah.
really have to, if you sit for a living and you're out there and you're listening, make sure you go look at, go put in sitting down for your occupation and what happens to your hip flexors and what you need to understand about your hip flexors. This is what happened to me. Mine got really, really, really weak from a compensation problem with my
Yeah.
feet. And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, at 55, it became a crisis and I
Yeah.
became unstable and major back pain. I had gluteal problems. My glutes weren't firing at all. And you really have to look at your hip flexors. And that's the one thing that, if I get across during this episode, the way you can age with grace as far as mobility goes is paying attention to that hip flexor thing. And I've been obsessed, like I said, with exercise. And
Yeah.
then I said to Michael, I said, is it an obsession though? Is there something I need to do right now? Because if I don't do it now, and it's going to be too late, because I think a lot of people, I think
They don't think about it,
a
maybe.
lot of men, like they kind of get the pooch in the front,
Yeah.
and you start to lose the core stability, and then they get glute atrophy, and they start to compensate, and I think that's a really big problem with men. They get there's nothing wrong with a good dad bod, if you know what I mean, though. But
Yeah.
if you have a really big, heavy front and it's
Yeah.
pulling gravity on you, and you're losing your strength in your hip flexors from natural atrophy, which happens, sarcopenia, which is muscle loss with men,
From
especially,
the
it happens.
testosterone.
Women, it
Okay.
happens. It's the same thing too.
Okay. I was going to
Um,
ask, I am
it's the
assuming it
same.
would be
It
similar.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens to women
It's just
too.
men have more of a muscle mass to begin with
Ooh,
in general.
yeah, and then they lose
Okay.
more, apparently.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because men, once their testosterone starts to dip. So, so there's all of these things, but the whole anti-aging thing starts with movement. And it's really, really
Yeah.
important that I hate to be this person and go, oh, here's another cliche. You need to make movement, fitness, and core strengthening, especially as you get older, a
Yeah.
really big priority. And if you don't, then your health will become a very big priority when you're in your 60s, because you're going to have problems. The hips and the falls and all of the knee problems and things that happen in senior people, and I'm only
Yeah.
saying this because I'm becoming one, is that it happens because of immobility due to muscle loss and muscle loss of strength. So
Yeah.
you're right now, you're at the pinnacle of this because your mitochondrial function is dysregulated from the low estrogen. And like, how many other women are out there that are like this,
Most
like
of us.
you, that are
Yeah.
sitting home and the doctors are going, oh well, it's anxiety, or
Yeah, I know. It's
it's
in your
just
head.
menopause and you have to go through it. I mean, it's like saying, oh well, you just have EDS, why do you need a
Right?
diagnosis?
Right?
So sick of all this, by the way.
It gets frustrating because it's like,
Yeah.
if we can have a better quality of life, and I'm talking about a healthy person, not people with EDS or any other like additional complications, but people who are like a normal 45, 55, 65-year-old, that if any kind of hormone therapy, if it's that simple to help us have a
Mm-hmm.
better quality of life,
Yeah.
why isn't that a priority? I don't understand.
Because medicine is about fixing a problem, not preventing one.
I guess.
I really see. So foundational, let's talk about foundations of youth, of staying, not being looking like a kid, but looking like the best you can possibly be at whatever age you are. I think there's a few exemplary men, a couple of exemplary men, and a lot of women on YouTube that are very good at this stuff. But it's like looks maxing, and I hate to be jumping on a
Trend.
bandwagon, but the best
Yeah.
way to get yourself to look good is to make sure that what you're putting in your body, whatever it is
Yeah.
is not toxic to it.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you know, is like so many people are living on, having to live on,
Yeah.
because they don't have enough money, because
People are
everything's so expensive,
struggling
are
financially right
struggling
now.
financially, and
They
they're
really
not,
are.
and they
It's a
don't have
huge
great diets.
Yeah.
So it
It's easier to
creates,
go to McDonald's than it is to yeah.
eat crap, right? And I
I
mean, you
know.
can go and get that $2.99 frozen pizza, and
Yeah.
people are hungry. And I'm not judging, but what I'm saying is it's going to
It's a
create the
problem.
problem. So it
Yeah.
creates a health problem. It ages you. So everything happens on a mitochondrial level. And
Yeah.
if the mitochondria are not functioning, or they're shutting down, is what
Yeah.
which is what happens when you age. That you're not
Yeah.
as you don't have as much cellular energy as you used to have.
Regeneration and
Regeneration has stopped.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit red light in a couple of minutes too, because I
Yes.
want to talk
Some of the
about more
things that
about
we
that.
do, to
Yeah,
help us.
yeah. So you know, so we have to look at what we're feeding the cells.
Yeah.
And another really good tip, and I'll just drop tips as we go along, because we didn't even
Yeah.
plan this
No,
episode.
that's
So the one thing that Robin Fogg had been constantly telling me is when you wake up in the morning, get outside and absorb 5 minutes of sunlight. And I was like, you know, me, man brain once in a while, unfortunately, like going, woohoo hippie shit. I'm going to go outside for 5 minutes and like soak up the sun, and I'm going to come back in and I'm going to have my coffee and go, why the fuck did I do that? 'Cause I don't even like the sun. I burnt my whole life, so I have a grudge against the sun.
Oh.
I've never gotten a good tan in my life. But
I burn easily too. I never really.
No. So you get it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so every damn
vitamin D.
the doctors, it's not just that. It's cortisol thing.
It's cortisol. It helps with the circadian rhythm.
Yeah. It keeps everything in balance.
Yes.
It's like, stop. Like, you know, sometimes as my mind is like, if I got to see it in front of me, right? It's like, but this is like something that is really, really been studied and actually, you know, legitimate, that this 5 minutes
of research
light really does kickstart your ass in the morning.
It does.
So that's one of my other things that I meant to mention. Is there anything else you wanted to go on about?
That's
hormones?
Really like
any more hormonal stuff?
Like, is there in terms of hormones
before we move on anymore?
No, I think
we're there. But what I want to do, though, I think what's really important is once you get on the
hormones
estrogen and the testosterone, let's give it a month and let's see do another episode, because 100%. I know there's a lot of female listeners that would be very interested to see what's going to happen over this, and the fact that you've taken this into your own hands,
in my own hands,
and did this yourself. And if it changes your life, it's going to be like what I did.
It's huge, right?
Yeah.
And so, I have a lot of high hopes for it, especially because I felt the best I had felt in years when I was on the Nuvo ring, and it was it was the hormones, and then I stop it and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
So I definitely
do you think
have
that
high hopes.
Did that induce menopause? Do you think?
I think so.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Which then triggered the hyperpots and the blood pressure and the the norepinephrine levels out of all of it. All of it can be honestly rooted to the hormones. And I think it's such a shame that we don't naturally do that. Like, why is this not naturally offered to us?
Now there's going to be people that say, you know what, I bet you Cristie wasn't like taken over by an evil spirit like the last episode.
I know, from last week.
We're going to go, it must have been her low estrogen that was causing her to be possessed. But
the demons.
Listen, we had this conversation before we put record on, and I said, oh, by the way, Cristie, I mean, now that we know that your estrogen is low, I said, I guess we could blame that. We thought your possession might have been
my
the
visions.
estrogen.
Maybe it was just a hallucination.
But I kind of feel that like your cryy, kind of cranky once in a while person is the low estrogen person, but the other person is kind of a little different than that one. I think
we've exercised.
I don't think that person is in menopause. I don't think they have that problem.
No, I don't think so.
Just saying.
I think that's just
in case anybody's thinking this.
Shadow. I know.
Strike that from the record, because it's really not relevant thinking. So I'll move over there aging with grace. So let's talk about,
Yeah,
we've talked about like exercise and the fundamentals of like, Dr. Claire says her recommendation for EDS people who are
yeah.
like, oh my God, I can't exercise at all. And there's people out there like that, is that
There
you do,
are, and the exercise intolerance is a
but
real
she says
thing.
2 to 5 minutes.
Oh,
And then,
really?
and then you increase by a minute every day.
Wow, okay.
And that's it. And that's how you start to get back into the flow.
Into the flow.
Right. So and apparently anybody that puts their mind to it can exercise, no matter whether you're in a wheelchair or because people in a wheelchair, they have to be strong because most of
That's
them
a
are pushing themselves around a lot of,
It just maybe looks different than,
right.
and I think with me, that was the thing that I used to get stuck on, was that I was like, I want to go exactly back to what I was able to do at
Oh,
30.
yeah, you want to go to
And I
Movati.
can't,
You want to go to
because
Movati and do all the
that's
classes.
what,
And
that's
yeah.
exactly what I was doing at
No,
30, was going to
no,
Movati
I
and
just,
doing hot yoga.
and just
Like,
so everybody, I didn't really know that she was doing that, but I really did. I just knew she was doing that.
of course.
So, but yeah, that's not possible. I
It's
don't think,
not, and it's okay that it looks different.
and even with full kind of like, I'm not going to say recovery with EDS, but full, let's say cruising altitude
Yeah.
with EDS, I even think there has to be at that point, even where I'm kind of at right now, is where you still have to make modifications.
Yes. And I think I'm okay with knowing now that I need to do modifications. It's okay to start from scratch. Like, I, I'm just proud of myself when I am able to go do
Yeah.
the treadmill.
Well, you shouldn't until
I
you
know.
shouldn't,
That's probably why I'm even more
you,
zapped.
well, and it's going to put you in an even worse mood because
That's true.
you're feeling defeated on
And
top of,
depleted, all of
when
it.
I heard the low estrogen thing, I'm like, she shouldn't be doing much because there's not much to do with, like, there's not enough energy. Your cells aren't getting the energy.
It's true.
You read what I just sent you.
Yeah, I read it. It's literally, it's on a cellular level, and
Yeah.
it
So,
impacts
so
everything.
we've covered the hormones things. We scratched the surface
Oh,
about
scratched. Yeah, because
menopause.
I only know as much as I've read, right? Like, I'm not a hormone specialist, but I do know that I need hormones,
Yeah.
and
Well, and a lot of
you
other
know,
women. So make sure you put the link in there
I
for
will
the,
for
yeah.
sure,
Okay.
because if it can help other people, and we definitely will do an update
Yeah.
once
Like
I've started
we need to
it,
do, because
because
I think there's going to be I'm going to predict, I'm going to predict that once this gets balanced, once the
yeah,
hormonal levels get balanced,
I'm
there's
gonna
going to be
be
a
feeling like
massive
myself again.
change.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh my God. Okay. So let's set it for like, let's be realistic and say like, give it a month after you
Yeah,
start, like once you get,
I
on the
think they say
therapy.
usually like 4 to 6 weeks
Yeah.
for
You'll know
things to
after
like
a month.
really.
You're going to know. You'll
I'm
probably,
gonna
with how shitty you've been feeling lately, I think you're
exactly.
going to feel it after 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I
That's what I
think
think.
I'll, and
So,
then it'll just get better from there.
yeah. So we've
But what
covered.
you were talking about with the light and going outside, I recently started this, like, it's a vagus nerve. It's meant for, and this can help both of us. It's not just a man or woman thing, and maybe even extra for people that have EDS. So our lymphatic system with our fascia,
Mhm.
a lot of it gets stuck.
Tight.
And so I recently started this lymphatic 28-day reset, and one of the first things that it said was, within the first hour of you waking up, go outside and spend 5 to 10 minutes. And it's the whole circadian, it's getting yourself into this mode of, like, we're so used to being in stress mode even without chronic illness.
Oh,
Everyone right now is stressed.
this
Cost
is
of
a
living is
whole
insane.
this is a whole
Like,
episode, by the way.
oh, and we've touched on it many times. Like, I think everyone can agree that the world right now is crazy and it's intense and it's overwhelming. And so, to get us out of that or help us deal with some of that stress, these activities, it's a lot of like somatic moving to help calm our nervous system. because I think that is also a really important thing when it comes to aging with grace, because
Mm-hmm.
the more stress is the
Oof.
worst thing on our bodies, really.
And we have, as EDS people,
On top of it, yeah.
we already have dysregulated nervous systems, but
Exactly.
now the whole world is starting to know
Yep.
what we feel like, because you're
Yep.
starting to see more and more people agitated, more people highly stressed, more and
Yes.
more accidents, more and more robberies. You're starting to
Yes.
see more addiction. We're starting to see more mental health crisis. We're starting
Yep.
to see a massive amount of violence against women. We talked about
Yep.
this before. We're
Yep.
going to have an episode where Christie's going to talk about this, and I'm going to listen because I'm not an authority about this, but she's going to have all the facts. We're going to talk about what we call, I had never heard the word before, femicide.
Yeah.
It's like one happened in Montreal the other night, but we're going to have a whole episode about this stuff and talk about the violence against women.
Yeah. It's a whole epidemic on its
The
own.
whole world, like, is just.
I know.
Okay,
everyone is on edge.
Can we talk about shit again for a minute?
Yes. tell them about the shit. It's not a podcast episode without the shit.
So, there's a big conspiracy thing going on about Tim Hortons now. Tim Hortons has been in the news a lot.
Okay.
Because it's been taken over by an international organized Brazilian
really?
Restaurants International now of Tim Hortons. It's no longer Canadian. They're masking their international status behind the Canadian flag, and there's a whole pile of controversy right now with the trans community and Tim Hortons. But unfortunately, yeah, because of the Harry Potter thing.
Oh, the Harry Potter thing. Okay, I saw the Harry Potter donuts.
Okay, but there's other things to consider here. You got to remember that the guy who plays Harry Potter, actually Harry Potter himself. What's his name?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Major LGBTQ supporter.
And so is Emma Thompson. Is it Thompson?
Right. So the heart and soul.
The big stars. Yeah. Hermione and Harry are both very.
So we always have to consider every fact. And we also have to consider the fact that Tim Hortons is the only fucking place to go get a coffee where I live.
Yeah.
It's the only place we have.
You're isolated up there.
Yeah, because we can go to McDonald's, but you know what? You can bitch about me going to Tim Hortons all you want as a gay man. But the thing is, if you're going to fucking McDonald's, shut it, because McDonald's contributed a lot, apparently, to Trump. And
are you kidding?
Oh, big time. I
guess that doesn't surprise me, since that's his favorite meal.
I don't want to hear no shit. I'm going to Tim's. But the problem about Tim's today, so Michael goes in and he goes to the bathroom and he comes back out and he's like, there's shit on the floor.
Like, what?
I'm like, I look at him and I kind of go, because I could feel this weird energy in the air, right? And I'm like, are you kidding? He's like, no. He said there's shit in on the bathroom floor. I'm like, where? And he's like, in front of the toilet. He said it's all over the floor. And oh God, like, you can't even go.
Like, you can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't go get a coffee anymore. You can't go get a coffee because somebody shit on the floor. Like, it's disgusting. Like it's really
I've seen that in hospitals before.
Oh, and in the hospital you could see it because somebody might have been sick and they might not have made it. It's like, but Tim Hortons.
Right.
And this is really the only place we have to go in Maniwaki to grab a cup of coffee. And that's the only place within an hour we have to go get a cup of coffee. And I mean, unless you want to go to a restaurant, and if you go in, they don't want you just to give me a coffee.
Yeah.
I don't like testing a waitress for a cup of coffee.
Right.
But the thing is like, you can really see the downgrade in society when stuff like this is happening. It's really wild. And this is the kind of stuff that's affecting us and causing us to be highly stressed.
Yeah.
And then that has an effect on our nervous system, which then has an effect on our sympathetic nervous system. And then we go into like hyper stress mode, which causes our bodies to age exponentially faster,
physically and mentally,
than they would have if not.
Exactly. So it's an important thing. Like, this is why I meditate. This is why I journal. This is why, because like, life isn't easy. It's not easy for anyone.
I'm finding it really hard lately.
The energy out there is very, you can feel it. It's agitated. Like,
it's chaos.
It does. Yeah, that's probably the best word to
Yeah,
describe it.
it's chaotic. So,
It is.
it's, and there's a lot of, I heard a lady being interviewed, so we know what the Canadian trade thing, and
Oh,
this is, so talk about aging people. Have you seen the Prime Minister?
I know. Dealing with
I
the
mean,
clown next
wow,
door.
like it's wild. I can see our Prime Minister really
Aging.
he's stressed.
Yeah.
And there was a lady today, CBC did an interview, it was on the radio today, and she was like, I'm a complete Trump supporter and he's got our best interest in mind. A woman on Sparks Street
Are
being,
you kidding? Like, what is wrong with people still today? I
yeah,
don't like,
this was today. I'm
I
like,
want to shake people. Like, how
oh
is
my
that even
God.
possible?
But it just goes to show you how this ideology has permeated our society, and it's made us a mentally ill society, which, I want to talk about aging. I mean,
Yeah.
mentally ill people age really fast
Yeah.
because mental illness is incredibly taxing on the system. And I think our society in general today is causing mental illness. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that, like, all of us are getting a little bit, like,
Edgy.
older and edgy looking? Like,
Yeah.
I notice people aging.
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause it's exhausting to be constantly in stress like this.
it's been 7 years of this.
I know. It
It's been 7
it's
years, and
exhausting
it is.
dealing. Yeah.
That's why we wanted to do this anti-aging thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
'Cause
we can.
it's so important.
What's really important, this could be a 4-hour episode. Oh God,
It
here we
could
go.
all the stuff that we could talk
Right.
about,
So let's talk about, like, the
some of the
important.
things we do.
Well, you know, yeah, like I think the red light was one of the biggest discoveries for me, and you have
It's
to.
huge.
Oh, it's amazing. The red light.
I miss it.
You
I
have your
haven't
pad.
been I haven't been so I stopped going to the pod once
Yeah.
I had my, like, the blood
Oh,
pressure
yeah.
and
You
everything
can't.
was all over the
No,
place.
you could never do it while your blood,
No,
because it
but I
was.
miss it.
So that
So,
really helps the ATP. So what
yeah.
happens with red light therapy? You have to have near and far infrared,
Okay.
and then there's the regular red light, and it's got to be between this number and this number, and I don't remember exactly what
Yeah.
it is, but we'll put a
It's
couple of
okay.
links, to companies who sell the
Sure, yeah,
the,
makes
like,
sense.
Magellan, and the other one, Infraretti, is, I have
Yeah.
Infraretti.
Is that your
Um,
mask? Or is
the
that the other
mask
thing that you have?
is an Amazon, cheap Amazon ripoff, and it
Oh,
was really good, and it really works. Michael's been using it regularly, so
yeah.
you can get the masks, and it looks like Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto, like the kind of
Yeah, yeah.
stick. Looks like a robot,
It does.
but it's so cool. And Michael's skin has changed, like, so much over the past couple of months. He's been using it regularly, and
That's amazing.
I'm watching his skin refine in front of my eyes. I'm like, I looked at him the other day. I'm like, are you using a new? He's like, I'm not using
Cream
any
or
cream.
something?
I'm like, I said, are you just the red light? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow. So, and the thing about the red light is that you're not supposed to have. Did you know you're not supposed to have anything on your face when you use it?
Oh, I didn't know. No.
So,
So, like, you
clean
wash your
skin.
face and then you do okay.
Anything you put on creates a barrier for the light. So you want it to absorb.
Interesting.
Face, you use it. The face, you can use it up to 5 times a week for 10 minutes at a time.
Okay.
And but for the full body, I mean, you can get the mats now, and you can get
Yes.
the mat with the ring for the face now.
Okay. Wow.
And there's so many options.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. I mean,
It's not.
no,
There's definitely privilege in being able to
there are payment
have
plans.
that, and, that was my Christmas present last year from my parents, was going to Skims and the pods,
but I'm going to get a mat. So when I do my physio,
so you can lie on it.
I'm just going to
Oh,
lie on it when I do my physio. And I
that
think
would help with your SI.
maybe you should get one too.
Yeah, that
Because
sounds like a
so what happens with it, no
yeah.
matter where you apply the red light on the body, it causes an uptake in cellular energy. So the light, how
Interesting.
we were always taught we were beings of light.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a lot more to this than meets the eye. And you
We're
know how
light and water.
Star Trek, even on Star Trek, when they were healing people,
Yeah.
they used light. And so what's interesting is,
Yeah.
these rays that are in these machines, in these
Yeah.
light diodes,
Yeah.
they penetrate up to 3 or 4 inches into the body.
Wow. I didn't realize it went that deep.
They go deep.
Even just,
There's
oh,
one
wow.
that goes really deep, and the professional one is the one that goes really deep. And you can buy the professional one to use at home.
Okay.
It's
Expensive, probably.
$3,900 for a
Yeah.
mat.
Yeah.
But I mean, the capability for self promotion of
Healing.
your own health and healing
Yeah.
is massive. And I've been
Yeah.
telling all my friends about red light because I can't believe what it did to Michael's face.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
incredible.
oh, you're going to see it when we
Yeah.
come down. You'll
They
notice
come
it.
this week.
There's a refinement in his, and you can tell the collagen is uptaking. So what it causes,
That's
your
cool.
ATP. So ATP is your cellular energy, right? That's what feeds your cells so your cells can do their job.
Yeah.
It promotes the uptake of this. And if you do it on a large surface area of your body, it creates an effect, a systemic effect, like throughout the entire body,
Wow.
long after the treatment's done.
And not just in the specific place that you have it, or is
No,
it just?
You could put, it's like you have a pad, right? You have a wrap pad.
Yeah.
So if you wrap that, that's going to help everywhere. It helps your brain and everything. Because I don't know how, it might even help right now, because where your ATP is low because of the low estrogen.
Yeah.
It could help now. You should try it.
I should.
You should.
The other thing that I've been noticing is you had recommended, I'm not sure if it was from Dr. Claire that you had heard this about the COQ, the supplements. So the what is it? PQQ, there's a couple of them, NMN, they're meant specifically for energy on the mitochondrial level.
I think I sent you a video on that. Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been using that, and I do a couple days when I was with my nieces, I was just so busy. I was like, I didn't take my supplements in the morning. And then, yes, like they tired me out, whatever. But I noticed when I finally did take them, it did have an impact. Like, it didn't make me feel phenomenal, but it did give me a boost.
Yeah.
So like, I definitely think that the supplements, not all supplements are great, but these ones I'm really finding have been helping, along with the like omega 369 I'm taking, vitamin C, vitamin D is really important for us, especially being in Canada. We don't get that sunshine.
Not that much light. And the vitamin D, there's a liquid vitamin D I've been using.
That's what, so before I was on what I'm on now, my doctor suggested the liquid one, but it wasn't really making a difference in my vitamin D levels. And so she's like, the best way is to go outside and like try to get as much covered as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But I still needed the extra boost. And I think a lot of people in Canada do need that extra boost.
A lot of EDS people too are deficient. Like they start deficient in vitamin D. Yeah. So it's really important. Zinc for men, by the way. Zinc
is another. That's a good one for like immunity and stuff, isn't it?
Yes,
like
immunity and muscle and testosterone. I think it affects testosterone in men somehow.
Interesting.
And then
the creatine.
So creatine there's another that. Thank you. Yeah. So that's another fountain of youth. So it's got to be micronized creatine. It has to be third-party tested.
Yeah.
Which means that it needs to be sent somewhere else to another lab and make sure that it's pure micronized creatine monohydrate.
Yeah.
1 scoop apparently a day is all it takes, and that's a 5 milligram scoop. And this stuff, what it does is causes a super hydration of every muscle in your body. And
which is important.
Super important, because how many people with EDS are always hydration
dehydrated.
low, and so their muscles are dehydrated because they're constantly overworking.
Yeah.
What creatine does is it goes in and fills all of that in with a whole pile of water. It super saturates the muscle with water, and it
And it's good
causes
for women and men. It's not just,
both.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it prevents exercise fatigue.
Yeah.
It gives you a bit more. I find it gives you a little bit more
A little
strength.
boost.
Yeah,
Because
compared to
at
women.
first I was like, do I take creatine like as a woman? But I've
Very
seen
important.
so many women, especially in the EDS community, that are taking it, that are like, yes, they swear by it. They feel better.
Yeah,
Their muscles rehab quicker.
poopy too.
And the poopy poopy,
You
yeah.
could, it could cause a little bit during the initial starting of dosing it every day,
Yeah.
and you should take it. It should be taken. So there's a couple of tricks about creatine.
Yeah.
Take it with vitamin C.
Yeah.
Creatine and vitamin C bind. It helps it bind to the muscle. And the other thing is, if you have a little bit of digestive problems with
Yeah.
creatine, dissolve it in the warmer water or a warmer
Oh.
liquid. And what it does is it breaks the crystal down, because the people actually react to the crystal.
Oh, okay.
Because if it
Didn't
doesn't,
I read too about needing to like add a little bit of salt or
yeah,
something with
a little
it to help?
salt.
I
Yep.
think that was something that you sent me as
Yep.
well.
Salt and vitamin C were the big ones. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
basically
then
it's,
magnesium is something
yes.
that both of us take too.
And that's actually, we make a homemade electrolyte because I don't
Yeah.
buy, I find
It
the
gets
stuff,
expensive.
they're
It does.
expensive.
It
They're
really
like,
does.
they're like, for Michael and I to use those is about $1,100 a year.
I mean, that's
That's a
massive.
cruise.
Yeah,
It's a 7-day cruise, all
it
inclusive
is.
for us.
And it's
So
basically salt and
it's actually no salt. It's the no
Oh,
salt.
really?
Yeah. So to make a homemade electrolyte, maybe I'll
Yeah.
put the link to the recipe. I'll put a
Okay,
recipe
I'll
in the
have to
link.
remember to
Well, I'll give you the
get it from
recipe,
you.
but it's the no salt that you buy in the grocery store.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about
Potassium
that.
chloride
Okay.
mixed with salt, regular
Okay.
salt, and then sugar
Yes.
and water and those little squirty flavoring things that you
Yeah, you
put
add
in
that
your
for your
water. Yeah, add
flavor.
that for your flavor. But the sugar's a big component, but electrolytes are really important. And if you do an electrolyte, if you put the creatine in your
And
electrolyte,
that's what I've been doing.
it's like a super formula.
And wasn't there something else about like eating carbs, like not taking it on a totally empty stomach after? Because I was at first taking it as like, oh, I'm going to work out and then I'm going to take the creatine.
It makes me
But then,
sick if I do
yeah.
that. I get
So you
really
need to
sick
actually have something to eat.
to eat. Yeah.
Have some carbs in there so that it can.
That's what I've been doing lately with the creatine anyway. And and it really works and I don't feel as ill. And then if I have to sometimes take it alone, if I've forgotten to take it with
Yeah.
me, I will put it in warm water.
Okay. So that
And the
it dissolves.
crispy gritty stuff goes away if you put it in warm water. Because it's kind of like
Interesting.
cornstarch in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got that texture and
There's a texture to
it's
it.
got a grit if you put it in cold water. But if you put it in warmer water or you put it in your warm coffee, and
Yeah.
it has no taste, so you're not going to taste anything.
No.
But creatine for everybody. It also prevents cognitive decline.
Yes, that's a big, big one when we're talking about aging too. Like that's massive.
Yep. So I mean, basically, the whole thing to the whole episode or summary would be: don't depend on the medical system and make sure you have
No.
your hormone levels checked. That's
Yes.
number one. Menopause is a bitch. That's number two.
Yes.
And did you ever notice that all of the women's problems,
Start.
menstrual cycle,
Yes.
menopause,
Yes.
menstruate,
Yes.
all of
There's a common thread in
most
there.
of women's problems start with the prefix men. So
yes.
it was just an observation.
I know. I've observed that as well.
So as far as the fountain of youth goes, I mean,
Yes.
really the secret is having a moderately good diet that's high in good fiber rich foods that are more raw foods, less processed foods.
Yeah.
Stay away from bakery bread. It's like that
I know,
crap
it's delicious,
that you buy in that you buy in Dempster's and all that stuff. Don't eat that. That stuff's not good for you.
It's not good.
Yeah. Dempster's story. a whole other time. But then there's red light therapy, and we'll put a couple of links in for that. And then there's supplements, which is the other big thing. We should just do a supplement episode.
We really should, because
what the things we take,
we've learned, and what we're beginning.
And I think the Fountain of Youth is kind of like the Z Files. It's going to be a long-standing thing we'll do once in a while. There's much to talk about with this.
There's so much to talk about it. Because I was going to say too, one of the things that I think is really important is to surround yourself with people who are supportive, who you can be yourself with. Because I think being your authentic, real self, and you're showing up in the world as who you are and not dimming your light in any way, I think that also has an impact on our mental state and how we show up, how we grow. I'm not afraid of aging.
No, me either.
I used to be.
I'm not afraid of it at all. I think we're aging really well, despite our problems.
I think so too.
Once you get your shit fixed up.
Of course.
And then I just have to continue exercising, and it's a real journey.
Yeah.
I have deficiencies in my body that were created by my feet. Most of my problems are physical, and which then affected my nervous system. So it's, it's all of this is all a big domino effect. We could go on about this. We're going to do another episode about,
we have to,
the aging
we're already at an hour. So,
my God, we could go on for,
I know. I just looked, I'm like, we're already at an hour.
Oh my God. I mean, I didn't even get into it, what I use on my face.
I know. I was going to talk about that other tip that you gave me, the castor oil. And we have so much stuff that we can still talk about.
Slugging, it's called. We need to talk about skincare. It's called slugging. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do a whole episode maybe on beauty care and skincare.
We should do that. And all the products that we use.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
I think that would, and I think a lot of people would be interested too.
Yeah.
To hear what kind of stuff we're using, what helps.
From possession to powder puffs, we do it all here.
Yeah, exactly.
What a crazy podcast this is. It's been a trip.
It really has. I think that's why people connect, because it's we're just who we are.
Just crazy.
We are. We can embrace our crazy. We can embrace our emotions.
Yeah.
We can embrace.
And if you got,
the bad.
And anybody's listening, you got a beauty secret, drop it in the comments. We'll
exactly.
This one here I'll read. I love trying different things. I don't know about you. Yeah.
And I've tried so much when it comes to pooping and constipation. So that could be a whole episode.
The laxative episode.
Oh my goodness.
No go.
No.
Literally.
No go.
That'd be really funny. It's going to be a good title anyway.
It's a really good title.
Well, thanks for this good discussion, Cristie. This was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I'm glad we had this talk, and I think
I'm glad we had our meltdown before we did it.
I know.
I think it would have been a very different, anti-aging podcast if we hadn't had our meltdown first.
But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes crying is the best release that you can have. 100%. Don't hold in your emotions.
Girl.
That's a whole other episode. Emotions.
We got to go for that. We got to do this whole thing.
We do.
The nervous system dysregulation thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We need to talk about that.
Mine seems to be getting a little bit better, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get on to that subject.
For sure.
Catch you on the flip side, girl.
All right. I love you.
Love you too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And thanks for being here with us today.
If this episode resonated, share it with someone who might need it.
And remember,
life bends us all.
See you next time.
And don't forget to comment.